Anti-apartheid activist Parmananthan Naidoo is testifying at the Neil Aggett inquest today. He was detained at John Vorster Square at the very same time as Aggett. But yesterday, ANC stalwart Reverend Chikane told the High Court about the interrogation and torture of detainees. But our reporter, Govind Whittles, has more on the inquest. Good afternoon to you, colleague. As I mentioned before, yesterday we've heard from Reverend Frank Chikane, just talk about the torture they've endured at the hands of some of the police officers at John Vorster Square. This also was the same sentiments shared by Barbara Hogan when she testified earlier on this week. What did Parmananthan Naidoo have to say today?
Yeah, Parmananthan Naidoo confirming most of what was said by Barbara Hogan and Frank Chikane as the normal and procedural torture techniques of the special branch and the apartheid police. Parmananthan Naidoo mentioning having been suffocated with a plastic bag, having been deprived of sleep, made to hold a chair over his head, being stripped naked and told to march and sing inquest, just among some of the things that he was subjected to. But interestingly, we also heard today about how Parmananthan Naidoo, prominent political activist, former member of the Transvaal Indian Congress, and someone who was actively involved in smuggling Mkhonto Sizwe operatives out of the country and back into the country to fight against apartheid. We heard how he was forced to drink what he described as a pink liquid, followed by some pills while undergoing interrogation by the special branch and apartheid police. And after having ingested these substances, he found himself involuntarily offering information about his underground activities and his work to fight against the apartheid police. So some more detail coming from his testimony regarding the practices that were used by the apartheid police, particularly at John Vorster police station and the other prisons in Gauteng. And he's confirming what was said by Barbara Hogan and Frank Chikane, and he's establishing that these were the normal procedures of these police officers once they had a political detainee in custody, thereby saying, in his exact words, he believed that the police did kill Dr. Neil Aggett, and he believes that they should be brought to book. That was just some of their testimony to me.
Now, Govind, what about his engagement, if any, with Dr. Neil Aggett? We also heard yesterday Dr. Frank Chikane narrating how the last time he saw Neil Aggett, he was struggling to walk. He was walking alongside a police officer. He had heard screams from other detainees within the prison. But from Parmananthan's perspective, did he make mention of Neil at all?
He never saw Neil Aggett and didn't interact with him, but he described the mood at the John Vorster police station on the day after Neil Aggett had died. He was taken from another prison and driven to the police station in complete silence. And he said that was the first time that had happened, that the people who were torturing him and some of the other senior police had not commented at all. And being taken into a room where he was visited by his wife. He said that during that visit by his wife was verbally assaulted and explicitly told not to tell him anything. He had later found out that that was in reference to the death of Aggett. In terms of Parmananthan Naidoo, he found out about Aggett's death first through a newspaper poster that was one of the lamppoles that he had seen while being driven back to the prison from John Vorster, and later saw in detail that it was Dr. Aggett when he requested a citizen newspaper. So although the pair never met and they weren't exactly friends, he was able to explain in some detail how he was tortured, and his story corroborated the testimony of Frank Chikane. But then Parmananthan Naidoo saying, just based on what he experienced and the time that he was being held in custody, which was the same time as Dr. Aggett, he can confidently say that he believes Dr. Aggett was subjected to even more intense torture methods by the special branch, and he therefore concludes that the apartheid police did in fact kill Dr. Neil Aggett.
All right, Govind Whittles, thank you for that. We'll leave a conversation at that. Of course, those are just statements coming in from court with regards to a testimony given by anti-apartheid activists, that is Parmananthan Naidoo.